With just 30 seconds left on the clock, Cristiano Ronaldo sends in a super cross for Varela to head home and save Portugal the ignominy of a first-round exit for the moment. Portugal and USA play out a thrilling 2-2 draw in Manaus. The Red Devils make a complete hash of it and need a late goal from Divock Origi to get past the battling Russians. The Belgians now are through to the knockouts. The Desert Foxes hand out a hiding to a sorry South Korea. Algeria become the first African team to score 4 goals in a World Cup match. And the final round of matches kick off tonight. Netherlands and Chile clash at Sao Paulo, with the winner destined to avoid Brazil in the second round. Good morning. If you have stayed up all night to watch the USA-Portugal game, then you can tell your friends, I saw a classic. Yes, what a start to the week where the final round of matches kicks off tonight. Karim Ben-Sharifa was tweeting away furiously through that match, and Novi Kapadia also was watching that match, and they're going to discuss that match and all the matches which took place last night. Let's start. A stoppage time equalizer with just 20 to 25 seconds to go has kept Portugal alive in the World Cup. Yes, they were staring at defeat, but somehow Cristiano Ronaldo produced a cross worth its weight in gold for Varela to power home a header. Portugal, smarting after an opening game humiliation against Germany, had their talisman and skipper Ronaldo start after a week of speculation concerning his knee. And they were ahead in the 5th minute itself, with an unmarked Nani smashing home from inside the box. The Americans, to their credit, did not let that affect them as they took the game to the Portuguese. It was frantic end-to-end stuff, with the Americans looking more likely to score. And score they did through Jermaine Jones, who curled in a super shot from outside the D in the 64th minute. And Portugal looked to be going home when USA skipper Clem Dempsey bundled the ball over the line in the 81st minute. But with virtually the last attack, Ronaldo's pinpoint cross was powered home by substitute Varela to keep Portugal alive. Let's take a look at how this match panned out, and it truly was a classic. 48% ball possession to USA, 52 to Portugal, 15 shots for the USA, 20 for Portugal. That gives an indicator of what a game this was. 10 shots on target for the USA, 9 for Portugal. 1 yellow card for USA and none for Portugal. Karim Ben-Sharifa, what a cross, what a moment, and what a player Cristiano Ronaldo, under pressure to just send that ball in, showed what belief he had.
Well, he just did a Messi, you know. It was similar situation. Portugal was out, 2-1 down. You know, strangely, he ended up on the right side, on the right flank, because he played on the left.
Yes, and Nani was not there. Yes.
And he delivered that pitch of cross, but give a lot of credit to Varela, because to sneak in that space that we always talk about and scoring, connecting very well with that cross, that's what make the goal. And that's what give credit to the cross of Ronaldo, because yes, otherwise, if he didn't connect well, or if he didn't time his run, then the cross would be without any value.
Novi Kapadia, this is what, you know, marks the great player out from the rest, you know. It was panic stations all over. They were trailing. The USA team was already celebrating. But while everyone was completely, you know, frantic, this man was calmness personified to whip that cross, and he knew what he was doing, and this is why he's a special player.
Yes, I mean, he's really made the difference, and you know, America is continuing to be the jinx team for Portugal. It reminded me of 12 years ago, 5th June at the Swan Stadium in South Korea, when with the team with Luis Figo and other greats, Portugal lost 2-3 to the United States of America, and it almost happened. It was seconds away from repeating that win, which would have knocked Portugal out of the World Cup. Now it's completely opened it up, and I mean, both Portugal and Ghana need one more win to survive. So I mean, it's down to the wire.
It's down
so
to the wire.
it's really, I mean, full credit to Ronaldo and Portugal for coming back, but also the sort of, the German invasion of the USA. The people that Klinsmann has brought in from the Bundesliga and various other leagues, he has really made this probably the best American team that we've seen in any World Cup.
Karim, you touched upon it initially when in your opening comments about the defense. And even though you cannot fault the Americans for commitment, they were running on empty. That Manaus heat was sapping them. But again, we saw a cross coming in. Again, the player ghosting in past the centre backs. This is the World Cup. What is going wrong? Is there something the coaches need to work in on training?
Well, till now, we didn't see a strong defense except when 11 players are defending. But defending brilliance, except maybe the pair of centre-backs of Belgium, Company and others, if we could count the number of goals that are scored from a cross on the far post or second post between the second stopper and the side back,
yes,
it's amazing. We can find maybe 7 to 8 players. We can analyze them again. That's why I send you the video immediately on Twitter, and I told you again it's happening. And I'm amazed because in those kind of situation, the defenders, there is two things where this is basics. You have to look at the ball, and you have to look at
the player coming behind
the
you.
player,
Yes.
the marking. But what we had seen so far, because the mistake is happening, is most of the defenders are looking only at the ball, but they don't know, they had no idea, they are not aware where is the marking, where is the defender, where is the striker.
Karim, let's also now walk to the telestrator, because as a coach, you must be squirming looking at this frantic end-to-end stuff. This is not how you play in a World Cup. End-to-end stuff, so much open spaces to exploit. Break it down for us.
Well, the USA came with the basically 4-2-3-1 with Bradley behind Dempsey, and Portugal came with 4-3-3. The thing that I want to explain here is always second game is the most exciting in a group stage.
Yes.
The first game there is calculation, nobody want to lose. The second game, then when the results are out, second game there is
you know
games,
what you have to do.
Yeah, Algeria, and there is a lot of must-win situation.
Correct.
So that's what happened today. USA, they didn't want to lose, but also if they play for a draw, they may be surprised. So they're gone for the attack. Portugal had no choice; they had to win the game or at least draw. So that's why we had seen that. But what struck me in the 4-3-3 of why space was there, 4-3-3 of Portugal, is that when you have 3 players, if you can notice here, the 3 midfielders, there is that space on their side, okay? And this space should be covered. It is covered by Nani from this side, but if you notice, most of the attacks was around this area on Almeida, which he injured again himself. He pulled a muscle, and the coach had to put Veloso on that side because he was under pressure, because simply Ronaldo doesn't have the
he wasn't
fitness.
fit enough.
Yeah,
Yes.
he wasn't going back. He was staying around this area, and that's what this space was used a lot by the US team. But the US team also had a lot of variety in their attack, beside moving through especially the left flank of Portugal. They had also penetration from the middle. We had seen that brilliant goal from Jones. So they had a lot of variety in their attack, which they exposed a lot the problems of Portugal.
Credit also to the Americans, Novi, because they were a goal down within 5 minutes, but they did not let their shoulders drop. Perhaps the Klinsmann influence here, relentless attack put Portugal under pressure, and throughout that first half and even at the beginning of the second, they looked like the only team which could score.
Yes, Group G, like Group D, has really proved to be a group of death, because it's gone down to the last match in which all 4 teams are in with a shout. I mean, all the last matches, Germany versus USA and Ghana versus Portugal, will have an immense bearing on the decision of this group. Yes, full credit to USA. They're a young and exciting team. And Klinsmann is having the last laugh. Landon Donovan and all, there was a lot of scathing criticism of why these players were
But
dropped.
I think now it gives an idea that coaches know what they want. We saw it with Deschamps. We've now seen it with Klinsmann, obviously. Kareem, but also a word on the goals, because that the first goal which Jones scored was an absolute stunner, which someone like a Messi would be proud of. To bend it, the goalkeeper had no clue where it was going, and to curl it back in, really lifted the Americans. And you saw after that Dempsey somehow bundling it over the line after a brilliant through ball to the flanks.
The goal of Jones is almost a classic, and it's very difficult for the goalkeeper. Why? It is similar to Messi. Messi from the left, and with the left foot. Jones with the right foot, is because the goalkeeper have to see the ball.
Correct.
And what these players do, because these are things that they're trained on, and taking the ball with the outside foot and looking at the gap in the defense to curl the ball, and the goalkeeper, because his defenders are
he was blinded in a sense,
are not making him able to see the ball.
Yes.
Because if he doesn't see the ball, he cannot react on time. So when he see the ball, it's already too late. It's already well placed.
Yeah.
So that's the.
But yeah, interesting one, because and then the celebration said it all. Novi, also you spoke in the pre-show last night about Clint Dempsey having a broken nose. He almost gave Portugal a bloodied nose.
Yes. No, I mean, Clint Dempsey has played. He's been in his fourth World Cup. So he's the senior pro with USA, and he certainly led by example. But it was a very refreshing USA team. The American team we saw in the 2006 and 2010 World Cups under Bradley were defensive units.
Pragmatic teams.
Yes, which would grind out results, wear down the opposition. The Klinsmann effect is very evident. The way we saw Klinsmann transform Germany
2006, yes,
into an attacking unit, he seems to have done the same for USA, and really, looking at a wider pool of players. So full credit to Klinsmann for his talent spotting ability also.
Yes, Kareem Bencherifa actually has worked in the US, so he was telling us about how the players are coming through now. It's no longer a country where soccer means American football.
Well, they are as I said yesterday, there is a lot of structure behind regarding the football or soccer in USA, because from the youth developments, they are covering the whole country. The country is already big, but there is plenty of players who are playing, so they have a big pool of players to select from. But what struck you in the US team as well is the fitness level of the players.
Yes.
And this is something that we have to know in sports, in the high performance sports. Americans are maybe the best specialists in making players or athletes fit. In fact, Klinsmann, when he was the coach of Germany, the fitness specialist was brought from USA, and he's benefiting from that expertise in this term of the fitness. The other thing is the team spirit.
Yes.
Now, if you look at this World Cup till now, it's not about the stars, it's
about
not
the
about
team
the quality, it's about the fitness and team spirit.
Yes.
Till now, Costa Rica, Chile, USA now, all have the same qualities, is fitness very high level and team spirit is very high level.
Right. Okay, the Americans really gave Portugal a run for their money, and Portugal literally had to run their socks off in a sense to save that game. But it could still be over for them, because they have a lot of catching up to do. Let's move on. There's another game which was played last night, and Kareem will be happy when we talk about this game, because Algeria have become the first African team to score 4 goals in a World Cup game after hammering 2002 semi-finalist South Korea 4-2 in Porto Alegre. Algeria coach Wahid Halilhodžić made 5 changes to the squad. Remember, 5 changes that lost to Belgium, and his team responded by taking the game by the scruff of its neck in one of the most lopsided first halves seen in the tournament. They could have been up 3 inside the first 10 minutes, but for some better finishing. They went ahead through Islam Slimani in the 26th minute after he dinked the ball over the Korean keeper. 2 minutes later, Nabil Bentaleb's corner saw Rafik Halice powering home to double the lead. And in the 40th, Slimani laid it on for Jabo as Algeria were in dreamland. Korea hit back after the break through Son Heung-kim, but Algeria moved out of sight through Brahimi. Cool Jachiol pulled one back in the 72nd minute, but it was too late. Kareem, let me ask you something. You come from Morocco. You are neighbors, in fact, to Algeria. We won't talk about the relations between Algeria and Morocco, but a special night for them, because to score 4 goals, and especially after that defeat to Belgium, this really must be a very special moment for the entire country.
Well, it means a lot for the entire country. It means a lot for the coach, who was slammed and criticized like anything from the Algerian media. And in fact, they was waiting for them to be out to put him under trial. It means a lot if you had seen the reaction of Slimani, who was on the bench last game. It seems like he's giving a message to his the people who criticize him and all that. So a lot of hunger was on that game. I like the way how Algeria started the game, because they had nothing to lose. They gone for the attack, and it paid off.
And Korea is a team which is very pacey, but they had no answer. They were left floundering with that relentless attack which came in.
Absolutely. They expose the naiveness of the defense of Korea. Korea is also good going forward, but defensively they were so shaky, so naive in their defending. And give credit to the Algerian team. They also went all out and create a lot of chances, and they deserve that win.
Right, Novi, you were with us in office watching the game last night, and you picked up on something as well, because with the European teams floundering, it's the African teams and the South American teams which are stamping their class on this World Cup.
Well, there could be 3 African teams qualifying for the first time for the round of 16. And adding on to what Karim is saying, this Korean defense would probably have Shakira smiling. The reason being that at least there's one defense which is weaker than that of Spain. Nobody will say now that Gerard Piqué is the weakest defender in the World Cup. I mean, they left gaping holes. Full credit to Algeria for taking advantage of this, especially Islam Slimani, who I thought had an outstanding game. But for once, Hong Myung-bo, in 2002 World Cup, he was one of the excellent defenders.
Correct.
He hasn't been able to somehow instill defensive toughness in this team. Korea were good going forward, but very vulnerable at the back. Algeria capitalized on it and exorcised that ghost of 1982, when they were knocked out of the tournament. A great joy that they could almost reach the round of 16.
Yes, they could pull it off. It was, what an attacking display it was last night. 4-2, Algeria winning on the night. Time for us to take a break. When we return, Belgium make a not so convincing march into the knockouts. Welcome back. Belgium have qualified for the knockouts of the 2014 FIFA World Cup after a late and not so convincing win over Fabio Capello's Russians. Coach Marc Wilmot started with the 2 men who turned it around against Algeria, Marouane Fellaini and Dries Mertens. Mertens was in scintillating form down the flanks, but somehow could not get that final pass right. Belgium lost Thomas Vermaelen to injury after 30 minutes, and then the best chance of an otherwise drab first half fell to Russia's Kokorin, who headed over the bar at the end of the first half. The second half saw the play slip up further, and it was only right at the end that Belgium sparkled into life. Kevin Miralles hit the post with Belgium's first shot on target in the 83rd minute. And then finally in the 88th, Eden Hazard stamped his class, cutting back to Divock Origi, who smashed in the winner. Let's also now look at how this match panned out. Belgium versus Russia. Belgium 52% ball possession, Russia 48. 11 shots for Belgium, 13 for Russia. 7 on target for Belgium, 6 for Russia. 2 yellow cards to Belgium and 1 to Russia. Novi Kapadia, the subs doing it again, in fact. For Belgium, Marc Wilmots in the first game threw on Fellaini and Dries Mertens. And again in this game, it was the subs who did the damage.
All 3 goals scored by substitutes. So, I mean, that is also quite a remarkable coincidence. But the credit to Marc Wilmots, he's at least spotting what is going wrong and willing to make change. Again, I mean, even the Everton man, Miralles, had a major impact. But Belgium's defense looking solid, even when Daniel Van Buiten came on. That is really an important factor.
Right.
It's once they get that creativity. You know, there's some advantage when you're not playing well and getting the results. Dame Fortune is favouring you. So, you know, it would help.
It's happening to a lot of teams so far, you know.
Especially Belgium. I mean, they've got over the difficult phase. They have moved into the round of 16. And now, maybe they can unfurl the class and talent that they have.
Karim, in a sense, they sleepwalked through the game. And in fact, they were very lucky to come away with 3 points. They could have been won easily.
Yeah, in my opinion, they didn't play really well overall in the game. And they have problems, especially up front, but also the lines are very far from each other, especially the back four. And Lukaku and Hazard, they are the main players on that front line. They're not doing well as well. What struck me is even Lukaku playing a horrible first game, second game, and he
they don't have
I don't know
options
what
at
you've
the
seen.
moment.
He reacted to the coach at the substitution in a very negative way. He didn't want to shake his hand and all that. So we was talking about closer. Here comes the class of players. And but they have luckily they have a squad and they have players who come in and make the difference.
Karim, let's in fact break this game down, because I want you to explain to me why Belgium, despite all this creative talent which they seem to possess, are not being able to penetrate. You know, they're not being able to get those classy runs through. They're not being able to break teams like Russia down.
Well, Russia in a way played a kind of a 4-2-3-1, 4-4-1-1. Now the thing is, yesterday Belgium played with Lukaku up front, Hazard on the flank and Mertens, De Bruyne, but also they push Fellaini because they want, whenever there is a cross, they want Fellaini on the box. Okay, they want to use his head and his aerial abilities. Now
and that extra hair as well.
Yes. Now the problem is Witsel end up with a hell of a duty defensively, because if you see the amount of space that is around here,
cover, yes.
It's so big. So when Belgium failed to penetrate, what happened is when they lose the ball, they have a big gap, and these guys have to come back. So now the whole line, these four have to drop back into to cover to help this zone. What is important if you want to play like this, a 4-1-4-1 situation, is you have to reduce this space between the midfield and the defense. All the back four have to step up to reduce the space, so it will be easier. And as soon as they win the ball, they lose the ball, they try to win it in this final third. Otherwise, it will become the defense. If they don't move up, what happens is that when they stay slightly deep, is the whole midfield, the whole line, have to come back to them, and
too much space available for
and
the
of course, you know, fitness-wise, it's not possible for these guys to do the work till here and to go and ask them to penetrate, because they are not fresh.
Rovi, also, is it time now for Mark Wilmots to make changes? You have young Januzaj sitting on the bench, and he gives them that extra pace and extra width on the flanks as well.
I was extremely surprised that Adnan Januzaj, who had such an outstanding season for Manchester United, pace, flair, creativity, excellent crosses, I certainly think he should have been tried, especially when we note that Russians have the two central defenders. No doubt Capello's building a team for 2018, but Berezutski and Ignashevich, very good central defenders, rock solid. They put Lukaku probably out of the match, but towards the end, they were getting exposed for pace. They are an old aging pair. And I thought if they'd unleashed somebody like Januzaj, it's a bit strange. You know, I have a feeling Januzaj opted for Belgium after they had qualified.
Yes.
Maybe it's again a problem of not really settling into the squad.
Because Kevin Miralles at that point said we don't need him, and he got ticked off by Mark Wilmots. Also, I want to get both of you in on the Eden Hazard question, because the young player of the year in England, but doesn't look that player when he's playing for Belgium. There's something missing, some spark missing somewhere.
Yes, it is a pity, because he has immense talent. What he turned on in those last 5 minutes, the turn, the ball control that he has, I think he needs some sort of psychological boost to allow him to just play with flair.
Or Karim, he needs a phone call from his coach, Jose Mourinho, probably.
Well, is it, you know, when we talk about these stars, Messi, Ronaldo, Eden Hazard. No, Suarez is performing. He's carrying the Uruguay. I'm talking about these three players. They seems to perform only the last 5-10 minutes.
Yes.
You know, you have most part of the game, they're not involved in the game. There is nothing happening. But then at the end of the game, they show that class, and we still believe on them. So it's
in a sense, it's very good for the headline writers. You wait for the others to do the job. When they don't do it, then you do it.
Exactly. So maybe they are too smart. So that's. But Eden Hazard,
all about marketing these days.
For the quality he have, in my opinion, he must have a better impact. The coach, you know, this kind of situation is not about training, is not about, because it's nothing you can fix during the competition, but I think it is requiring, it's mental, and the coach has to sit with him and ask him whether he should try him behind the striker on central position to try to get the best out of him, whether he's annoyed to do defensive duty, so you can help him on that.
Okay. Belgium moving into the knockouts despite a patchy performance. Time for a break. When we return, Spain's golden generation look to end a magical run on a winning note. Welcome back. The final round of games kicks off tonight, and to ensure no team has a disadvantage, all the group games kick off at the same time. Netherlands and Chile kick off at 9:30 p.m. at Sao Paulo, with both teams having already qualified. But here is the catch. The winner of the group gets either Croatia or Mexico in the second round, while the runners-up faces mighty Brazil in Belo Horizonte. Now, even though Brazil have not exactly set the tournament on fire, both Holland and Chile will definitely want to avoid the hosts. Holland had a fantastic start to the tournament with that 5-1 demolition of Spain and had to come from behind to beat the plucky Socceroos 3-2. But they will miss captain Robin van Persie, and the onus will be on Arjen Robben to take them over the line. Chile are no pushovers either, having displayed enormous flair in ending Spain's tournament, and the exciting trio of Arturo Vidal, Eduardo Vargas and Alexis Sanchez will test the Dutch defense big time.
I expect this is going to be the most difficult opponent. I said this previously in the tournament as well. I've seen them play Germany and England in pre-tournament friendlies. They were able to swipe away those teams. They're a team that we enjoy watching, and I think they have a marvelous coach who lets his players play very attacking football.
I think the match will be difficult for us in terms of strategy, because the coach on the other side is one who prepares for all possible variants. With the experience he has, he certainly knows what our skills are and how to play on our weaknesses. So we must be very clever about it, discover their weakness and try to limit the strength that the Netherlands have, especially from the third quarter forward.
Novi, how badly will the Dutch miss Van Persie? Because ultimately it's about the result. It's about avoiding Brazil in Belo Horizonte, where you'll have a full stadium cheering Brazil on.
No, they will certainly miss him a lot, because Van Persie is in red-hot form. I mean, that goal he scored against Spain, which probably could be one of the goals of the tournament. And plus, they're linking up very well with Arjen Robben and Wesley Sneijder, that triangle that is taking place. They do have a good replacement in Klaasie and Huntelaar, but without even, playing as a substitute. Also, it's an early start. It's 1 p.m. in the afternoon in Brazil, so it's going to be hot. And that also favors Chile, and it's going to be a difficult game. Does Netherlands decide to go for a draw to take advantage of their goal difference and top the group, which could be suicidal? They don't really have the best of defenses.
It's a young defense in a sense. It's a very untested defense.
Defense, yes. I mean, their strength is going forward, and Chile's is also going forward.
Let's ask Karim that question about Chile, because they've shown a lot of flair, and that trio, Vidal and Vargas and Sanchez, as I mentioned, clearly they're enjoying each other's success. They're feeding off each other's success. Unfortunately, some other teams are not doing that, but Chile have been sensational.
Team spirit, super fitness, very positive attacking team. All these are ingredients for an exciting team. And the irony is the Dutch team that we are used to play with wings and 4-3-3 attacking game are sometimes using a 3-5-2, which is more trying to negotiate and compact the midfield. While Chile doesn't ask any question. They play the way that normally the Dutch are good at, 4-3-3, using the wings, high pressure on the ball. And but Holland have a very astute coach who definitely is studying all the pros and cons how to play Chile. So it's going to be an interesting game, and it's going to be interesting to see how Van Gaal will approach the game.
I want to ask you that, as you're the coach, I'm going to ask you, as a coach, what do you do in this situation? Novi touched upon it. Do you go for that 1 point, or you go for the win?
No, you cannot, as a coach, when draw is enough for you, you cannot play for a draw. You're going to lose the game.
Okay.
From the start, you have to prepare The preparation for the players have to be for a win. Your tactics and formation have to be for a win. And then you can negotiate, start talking about the draw, maybe in the last 10 minutes. Then you can come back and play defensive and strengthen the midfield and play only with one strike after a few substitutions. But if you play for the draw from the start, most of the time mentally you can be surprised.
Okay, let's move on. The other game which comes tonight is world champion Spain will look to exit on a high and avoid becoming the first defending champions to board without any points to their name. They play the Socceroos, who like them do not have a point on the board. This game marks the end of an era in Spanish football. Spain's golden generation, who ended decades of underachievement with a hat-trick of titles at the world level, will probably see the exit of familiar faces. Captain Iker Casillas, who has had a shocker of a tournament, will be on the bench, and Pepe Reina will amazingly play his first ever World Cup game. Also on the bench is the legend Xavi Hernandez, who was the heart behind tiki-taka that Spain so effectively owned prior to the start of this tournament. Andres Iniesta is on 99 caps, but Del Bosque could also decide to go with the other players who did not get a game. Spain had an equally decent second 11, and this game could see the start of a new revolution. The Aussies will come hard, but Spain, despite the emotional scarring, should have it easy in the absence of Australia's top scorer, Tim Cahill.
Algunos dicen, es que hay que hacer una revolución, hay que hacer una renovación.
People always say that you need a revolution after a defeat, but you have to ask yourself, is it really the responsibility of the veterans only? Didn't we have young players as well? It is unfair to say that only the veterans are to blame. We have to think that we lost together, not just the veterans or just the youngsters. We need to be fair. If you balance everything up, I think that all of us lost.
Strong words there, Novi. You get a feeling what he's trying to say now. The fact that Casillas is sitting out means Del Bosque has decided to move on.
Yes, you know, with thinking of Casillas, he got his first break in 2002 due to a freak accident to the #1 Spanish goalkeeper then, Santiago Canizares. Shaving accident. He was shaving and the shaving kit fell on his leg. He got cuts. The coach didn't risk him then, and Casillas came in.
Casillas has an equally disastrous World Cup in a sense.
And in that sense, he's started with a bang and has ended with a whimper. You do feel sorry for him. As for several of the Spanish stars, it'll be the last hurrah for probably several of them. Now, Vicente Del Bosque, you know, has a catch-22 situation. Does he go in for Koke, Juan Fran, and all the other younger, Juan Mata, who's barely got a look in? Does he go in looking to Euro 2016? Or is he going to give, you know, the Fernando Torres and David Villa, you know, one last hurrah? But they've got to at least get a point. France in 2002 at least got one draw when they were also knocked out as defending champions. Spain has to avoid that humiliation.
Karim, you have been talking about, you know, the fact that there could be some friction in the team. We saw a clip yesterday of Fabregas having a tiff with Del Bosque, and, you know, this puts it into different light that there could be, the team cannot be too happy. That's why you're seeing all this.
It's not possible for this team to be happy after the first game. It's impossible. It's also not possible to say that they are looking to end up on a high. Even if they score a hat-trick, they win by 3-0, still they will end up this World Cup in a low. So it's a very, very difficult situation for Del Bosque to manage, because there are players unhappy with him because he didn't play them. Maybe Fabregas is one of them. He know whatever he do on this one, they will still be facing a lot of criticism at home and in the world. So it is very, very tough situation for them. Australia is in a better position. For Spain, they wish they had took the flight immediately after the defeat of the second match. Australia, they are happy to play their third match, especially after their positive performance. And if they can win Australia, they will look to win. If they can win Spain, they can also jump and be happy and saying that we won that golden generation of Spain.
It's like India beating Pakistan in the World Cup and not going and winning a match. But very quickly, Novi, Del Bosque has said that he can quit if the federation wants him to go. But this game will probably show us if he's going to stay or not. Because if he goes with the great bench strength which they have, then we could get a clue of what he's going to do, because the Euro qualifiers start in September.
Yes, certainly this game will be a signifier of future plans of Del Bosque. He has been shown to be a little conservative coach. Now, is he going to do a Roy Hodgson and really go in for the younger players, in which a match in which it's really you're playing for pride and reputation? His main thing here is to be a psychologist, to get Spain out of the doldrums. They can never be happy, but at least they can end on a slightly positive note. You know, there's a sort of, every dark cloud has a silver lining.
Absolutely. Time for us then to take a final break on the show. When we return, we talk about just how host Brazil can give their fans some joy. Welcome back. Host Brazil will look to end the group stages on a high and give their home fans plenty to celebrate after a rather drab draw against Mexico in their second game. Cameroon are a pale shadow of the team which shocked the world in the 90s, and Luis Felipe Scolari will be hoping his team raise their level of play before the knockouts. Now Brazil, despite having 4 points on the board, have not been convincing in both the games. Their forward line looked bereft of ideas against Mexico, and another game like that will give their future opponents belief that they can be taken down, which makes it imperative for Neymar and company to turn up and gather some momentum. Cameroon, meanwhile, are out of the reckoning but would want to give their fans something to cheer for in what has been an abysmal campaign so far. Novi, final chance for Brazil to get it right. The fans want Jogo Bonito, they've not got it.
No, I mean, Scolari is not bothered about the fans, just like many of the other great coaches. You know, here is a situation, a bit alarming, but it does happen in the World Cup. Brazil could play ducks and drakes. They will know who's going to be their opponent, whether they can choose whether to finish first or second in this group. You know, Mexico and Croatia have no alternative. Croatia has to go for a win. Mexico can't take a chance. But Brazil will have an idea. Do they want to play Chile or do they want to play Netherlands? Or does Scolari say that, you know, if you have to win the World Cup, you have to beat all the teams at some time. So don't bother about it. So it's going to be a bit of a tough call. But for some strange reason, Group A's matches have been put second. Group B's matches have been put first. So there are all sorts of intriguing possibilities in this Brazil-Cameroon game. Cameroon psychologically will be ruined.
Absolutely nothing.
Brazil should canter to victory even at about 70% of their ability.
Yeah. Karim, you know, Scolari is a coach who does not like to make changes, but has this group let him down? There's not that flair is missing, which was there. We saw in the Confed Cup also that flair is not there. Has this group let him down?
Well, it's his choices. You know, he picked up this group. You know, Brazil is maybe the only country where you can select out of 200 or 300 excellent footballers all over the world. Even some of them are even, because they don't have a chance, they are playing for other countries. Take Diego Costa, take Eduardo with Croatia and all that. So it's his choice. These are the players. But we have to understand that Scolari is not a very attacking coach. Scolari is a coach who wants the result, who wants to win the World Cup, by hooks or by crooks. So he will. That's his main objective. Playing good or not playing good, was it an exciting team? Was it exciting performance? He doesn't care about that. And in a way, he's right. Because in a few years, nobody will remember that.
They'll remember that Felipe Scolari won 2 World Cups.
Good. They will remember that he won the World Cup.
He'll be the second coach in the history of the World Cup after Vittorio Pozzo, which were much easier times. I mean, it will be a remarkable achievement if he does it in the 21st
but
century.
long way to go.
Long way to go. Yes, long way.
At least we are on complete, you know, we're all on the same page on that one. The other clash in Group A tonight promised to be an enthralling one as Croatia and Mexico face off in Recife with a place in the round of 16 at stake for both sides. Croatia go into the game knowing that nothing except a win will do as they trail their opponents by a point as things stand. They will, however, be buoyed by their 4-0 thrashing of Cameroon in their previous outing, although goal scoring will not be an easy task because standing in goal for Mexico will be the man of the moment, the hero from their goalless draw versus Brazil, Ochoa. While a draw would be enough for the Mexicans, they would want to leave absolutely nothing to chance, given that they themselves possess a formidable attack which at many times threatened to unlock the Brazilian defense. Time now to look at what you have been writing in to us on Twitter. The first tweet comes from Shady Amen. Ronaldo schooled the wingers right there. You see how to cross, just walked like it was nothing, boss, and the hashtag, importantly, World Cup. The next one from Van Diablo. That Jermaine Jones goal was something. The keeper didn't even move. Wow. Yes, we asked Karim Ben Sharifa about that one. Truly was one of the great goals from this World Cup. Akshay writes, last night it was Ghana, this night it's Algeria. African football seems to come a long way this World Cup. I can tell you, Karim Ben Sharifa is smiling reading that tweet. The fourth one from Sachin, it says Belgium's experimental 406 with a false 8 and a false 6. Is it really paying dividends? Well, Sachin, interesting one. Let's see if they manage to get it together. Our tweet of the day comes from Anup. He says, IBN Live Sports, divine intervention indeed. Cristiano's cross saves the day for Portugal. Yes, it definitely does, but also you need to thank the guy who was at the end of that cross. This is how you can join the conversation. All you need to do is tweet us using the hashtag World Cup. Also, you can tweet Novi and Karim because they now are getting into Twitter and enjoying themselves on it. Time for us to go. Thank you so much, Karim Ben Sharifa and Novi Kapadia. Some big games coming up tonight, so join us at 7:30 p.m. to set it up. Goodbye.